Hey everyone, this is Jennifer Beamer, owner-operator of Explay Dyed Art by Science, and this is PhD Talk. Today, I wanted to talk just briefly about this upcoming conference I'm going to called the European Archaeological Association. It's my first big international I'm going to present at conference, and frankly, I'm a little scared. Not terrified, but I am worried because I feel like this is the real big leagues for me. I've presented at several conferences in the past, but nothing quite this big, and with all the topics that it covers, I've never been at a conference quite like it before. So I'm not sure what to expect, and even though I've looked through the program book, which is a big tome, I get a sense of the types of people who are going to be here, and it's going to cover essentially everything from theoretical archaeologists all the way to experimental archaeologists and all the people in between, and it's going to probably cover a lot more than in any other conference I've been to in the past. So for that, it's going to be a great experience in terms of exposure, but with that there are some fears, and one of my fears in particular relates to the size of the textiles group. Now, a lot of these scholars I have met, and the ones that are attending, I'll probably know their names because I've read their things, or I've seen their names come up in other papers. So I will have some familiarity with some of the people in this group. However, because it's international, there's going to be a lot of scholars who may have only published their material in their native language at this conference. And because I don't know them and I might never have seen their names, which is true for some of them, it makes me a little bit more concerned about how I'm going to deal with my nervousness while I'm presenting, and particularly during the question session. It's difficult to know now, but one of the things that I'm preparing myself for are questions relating to the peripheral aspects of my research. So I think that when I do my presentation, that's going to be interesting and it's going to stimulate some of the audience, but also I'm probably going to get a lot of questions about things not covered with my research, because with textiles there are lots and lots of different things that you can study. Tools and textiles, those are the most obvious ones, but there's also, in terms of textual, iconography, imagery, there might be stuff written in terms of like the cat's beating at the door. But there are lots of approaches that you can have towards the question of understanding more about textiles and textile production. And with my body of research, I don't really have much in the way of textiles in terms of remains, so I primarily study the tools. And because we don't really know that far back in prehistory what things were possible, I have a very exploration style with my research, and that's going to be really interesting and difficult for me to convey in a short amount of time, because where in other areas, like Bronze Age Mediterranean, for example, there's a lot more information in terms of the textual evidence, and there are more remains to actually investigate. So for me, sky's the limit in terms of what might be possible. But for other groups, it's much more confined or restrained, and so yeah, I think it'll be a lot of interesting conversations and dialogues, and that's probably one of the things that has me most concerned about this conference. But I think I'll be okay as long as I have some talking points that I feel comfortable discussing as I go, and when I'm there I'll be building up my network. So I'll have an opportunity to have these discussion points with certain scholars, especially those that I haven't been able to talk to in person before and want to talk to. But also I'm going to have some follow-up points from people that I talked to last year when I was in Copenhagen, for example. And so, yeah, I think going into this, knowing that it's going to be big, that there's a lot of stuff I'm not going to know, makes me more prepared to handle anything that might be wild cards. But we'll see on the other side, and I'll do a video kind of recapping my experience. So, yeah. So, if you went to a big conference, or an international conference that was also quite large, how did you handle this? Were you stressed out? Did you come up with talking points? How did you handle it? I'd like to know. And there are also some other PhD students who might be interested in as well. So if you could, please post your experiences in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!